You need that social welfare, those benevolent programs. You bad person. And what about all the immigration? How much that costs us? No, you're bad. You're un-American trash. We got to go into more debt. They act like there's any question they're going to, the Republicans and Democrats are going to approve this thing, right? They're playing this political game. Charades. These people are in cahoots. They collaborate. They collude. They sicken me to my core. They're vile. The vast majority. I mean, it's a generalization. But most of them are just enemies of the American people. As far as a united front of we the people, all the people across the board, what people identify as socialists and capitalists. And I mean, if you're just into fairness, okay, just fairness, that's all. I don't care if you're Republican or a Democrat. I don't care if you identify as a liberal or a conservative or any point in between or to the extremes. I just don't care. What does it matter if we can unite, okay, and say, hey, we have a whole hell of a lot more in common than out of common. Can't we get along here and make some rules that make sense, that benefit we the people, not we some of the people, selectively and exclude others? And things just get worse and worse. The chaos remains. The problems remain because we got all these well-paying jobs that sprung up surrounding the problem persisting and hopefully flourishing, thereby giving us more job security. It's sick. It's twisted. It's evil. It's vile. That's the state of affairs. And like I said, previously in history, there'd be a bloody revolution when the evil men just couldn't stop themselves because they're drunk. They're out of control, like snot-nosed, spoiled brat kids that don't know when to quit. They force the hand. So let them force God's hand, not ours. Because God does have more powerful beings than these a-holes. Do you think they'd like you to know that? You see why it's a national security secret. But you know how many people up in the uppermost, they find it privy, but they don't come out later and talk about it. Clinton probably found out all about it. He said, oh, I'm going to release this to you. Everybody says they're going to release it, and they don't. They don't, but you can find it all. It's all, the information's out there. Do a little research yourself, all through history. In the Bible. UFOs. No. Higher beings with greater technology. Do you understand? Holy angels and everything else out there. It's a big universe. It's a big galaxy. Yes, it's not that far-fetched to imagine going faster than the speed of light when you know how, when you've got the technology, when you can defy gravity. Right. You get from point A to B, that doesn't matter how many light years it is, in the blink of an eye. That's right. That kind of technology. And it's explained if you've got the IQ to comprehend it. I mean, it's hard for me, but I think it's possible. If you can imagine it, it's possible. Like bending time and space. That's how it's explained. You just do this. I don't know. But, does size matter when it comes to the universe? Whether it's all happening on the head of a pin or it really is as grandiose as we imagine it is and see it and perceive it as. Either way, it's remarkable. God's a remarkable God. God is wild, man. You think of the dinosaurs and the mammoths, all the cool stuff. God's like a big kid, man, with all kinds of power. Oh, yeah. And all kinds of higher beings. But you see why the people in power, presidents and kings and everything, they want to keep this stuff close to the vest. They don't want the masses to know. They want to keep trampling over us, taking advantage of us. Lesser men, commoners, the plebs, whatever they think in their sick, twisted minds, that's what we are to them. And that's why they can rationalize and justify it in their own twisted, deluded minds. You understand? That they can play this game like they're the gods of the earth. And they think they're just megalomaniacal in their thinking about who they are and their position and why it's okay that the public doesn't know. It really is X-Files like. It really is. It really is. When you got high-ranking military saying, hey, look, these crafts can fly in with impune. Our weapons can't touch these things, and we best not when we're dealing with higher forces here. Be better that we don't, okay, mess with these. As long as they're not being violent against us, and they're not, okay, then we've got no cause to be violent against them. But these things, these crafts, lighted crafts, supernatural, paranormal crafts, whatever, come in near our nuclear missile ICBM sites, and they're able to deactivate, take offline all the missiles at will, anytime, in Russia and in China and in America and Pakistan, you name it. Do you think the rulers of the world like you to know that? Do you understand why they might not? You get that? They want you to. Do you think they want you to think, wow, how much faith can I have in these people? You know, this guy's not crazy that's talking right now. He's right that we've got to take the power and gauntlet. We've got to say, hey, run this gauntlet, and just, hey, we're going for the jugular here. We're seizing power, but not violently, but by the finger of the hand of God. We're demanding fairness, and we don't believe we're asking too much. So let's all sit down to the table and have this conversation, okay, right now, about permanently solving problems and about sharing the inherent wealth of this planet that belongs to God, and we're God's equally beloved children, and we're going to keep religion out of this conversation. You understand me? We're just going to talk about the way it is and the way it's going to be, you see. And if you don't like it, then there's another place for you, and that's where it's written in Scripture, prophecy, the judgment day, when the harvest of the souls of man takes place. The wicked go here, and the righteous go here. You're found worthy and deserving of inheriting the face of the earth, sunlight, and all daylight, and all. And you people, you money loving bullies, you just can't. You just wouldn't be. You'd be miserable. They'd be miserable if they had to play fair, play by the rules. You understand? So they choose hell themselves. It's not that there's a big bad God sending them hell, but they wouldn't want to be in that world. They wouldn't want to be in a heaven. That's how corrupt, bankrupt they are. It's sad. I mean, I can't explain it. Why somebody would turn to, it's like selling your soul. I mean, what would you pay in exchange for your soul? It's an absurd question, right? It's preposterous. I don't. So how do you really, at the end of the day, understand the heart and mind of a madman that willfully sends themselves, walks off into hell, and they're stuck together down there with just their like, their ilk? Could you imagine how miserable they'd be with none of their servants that they've been taken advantage of? The slaver class, stuck alone, miserable. You want to be with them? I don't. So you better make up your mind to love human beings one whole hell of a lot more than you love money, and love doing God's will, being a servant and friend, and being just simply honest about the whole discussion. And saying, can I or can I not imagine a world entirely without any form of money? You can, if you're being honest. Well, friends, well, friends, I don't have much time left, but listen, have a nice day, have a nice eternity, and strive to be nicer and nicer and nicer. Try to be useful. Try to utilize your artistic, giving nature and have fun. It's not easy in a crazy ass world run by maniacal, money loving madmen. It's not easy just to have a semblance of peace of mind when there's wanton injustice everywhere. So, any fun we can have is powerfully tempered by evil men. And there's only one answer, is to get away from these people, to escape them. And that's going to have to be done by the finger of the hand of God. So we've got to turn to God for help. It's the only answer. It is. It really is. Violence isn't the answer. Otherwise, it would have worked. We'd have fairness in the land. Things would be getting better and better and better for everybody across the board. That's called progress. But we've been embarking in regress my whole life. Been going down the tubes. That the money lovers, the masters of misery, have been getting their way and been very successful for a long, long time. And it's time that the The worm turned, my friends, and it's coming in God's time, not mine. I don't get to decide, but we've got to turn to God and try to love these people as best we can.